Vikings Season 5 Episode 11, The Revelation, wasted no time bringing us back to the world that has changed so much during its 5-season run. And we start off with just a taste of what's to come, with Ivar telling everyone to hail their new king, giving off serious dictator vibes. But Ivar isn't satisfied with his current position, as we see him piss on the throne where his father once sat, and more recently, Lagertha, the person that haunts his dreams. When Ragnar Lothbrok died, so did a piece of the show, but the show is still as compelling as ever, with the unpredictable and ruthless Ivar the Boneless. I mean, in one of the teaser trailers for episode 12, Murder Most Foul, Ivar tells King Harald to get the hell out of town if he can't do anything for him.
There's no reason to stay here, unless you plan to kill me and make yourself king of Kattegat.
No, I don't want the mess.
If you kill Ivar, then I will be queen.
And King Harald just killed his brother in battle and supported Ivar's cause. This is an absolutely savage thing to do and shows us that Ivar lacks real empathy. Imagine someone telling you, hey, your wife just died, but it doesn't matter, and there's plenty other fish in the fjord. I can't help but think that King Harald, who is also a very ambitious man, will not put up with the immaturity and selfishness of Ivar. And while I thought it might take another couple of episodes for him to recover from killing his brother Halfdan and losing his wife Astrid, it is my belief that this season will just continue to ramp up its intensity, with each episode outdoing the previous one. But what is King Harald's next move, and can he actually team up with Margret, who is as untrustworthy and perhaps even more insane than Ivar? In the conversation with Rollo, King Harald asked why Rollo had returned, and he was a mere afterthought in the conversation compared to Hvitserk and Ivar, who are the sons of Ragnar. I think we will see impatience growing within King Harald in the next episode, as he won't be celebrating this hollow victory. It's also possible that he seeks out other Vikings, and we could be in for a big surprise when it is revealed that Magnus, who is behind King Harald in the France Season 5B promo trailer, will join him in battle. But this doesn't stop Ivar from celebrating his victory and connecting with Freydis, who may or may not be who she says she is. She is confident and fearless around Ivar, and she could encourage Ivar to be even more ruthless. However, Ivar is not as confident as his brothers physically, who don't share his physical handicap, and the beauty and affection from Freydis could become a major distraction and blind spot for Ivar. One of the central themes of Season 5B is going to be sacrifice, and I can't help but think that Ivar is going to sacrifice some of his armor for love. We saw how Ivar was with his mother, so perhaps the strategy and key to taking back Kattegat from Ivar is dealing with Freydis and their plan to give him an heir. I also found it very interesting that he never verbally agreed to Rollo's large list of demands. Ivar acted like he was going along with it, and let's be honest, he's not the most trustworthy guy in the world. But neither is Rollo, so perhaps Ivar plans to play Rollo at his own game and betray him in some sort of double cross. I just can't see Rollo opposing Bjorn and Lagertha, who he inquired about in the same conversation. I don't think that we should underestimate Ivar's ability to piece things together as well, and in this moment maybe he knew that Rollo was fishing for information about Bjorn, since Rollo had such a positive reaction to Bjorn surviving the battle in the finale of the first half of Season 5. This is one of the many things that I love about Vikings, because of these subtleties in each conversation that could actually carry more weight than we think. Speaking of non-subtle moments, holy crap, Rollo believes that he's Bjorn's father, and there had been hints that Rollo's plotline would have huge implications, with teasers from Michael Hurst and Clive Standen. It is my personal belief that Bjorn is Ragnar's son, but in history, Bjorn was the son of Ragnar and Aslog, which is very interesting to say the least. This was definitely the best scene of the episode by far, and has huge implications for the rest of the season. But will not accepting Rollo's offer come back to bite Bjorn, and especially Lagertha, whom Rollo said he would never see again? This could be an important piece of foreshadowing, because he never says this to Bjorn and only Lagertha. And it's quite possible that we are seeing the end of Lagertha's journey this season, as we are entering the third and final act of Vikings, since Season 6B will be the final season of the show. There are some interesting moments that are also shown in the promo trailers, where Lagertha is possibly experiencing a nightmare, or is actually visiting the cage in which Ragnar dropped to his death in the second half of Season 4. I have an interesting theory that each one of our major characters are experiencing some sort of nightmare this season, as we can see Floke, Ubi, Lagertha, and Bjorn, and Ivar experiencing some surreal and perhaps dire consequences. And it would be an interesting thing to explore, seeing all of these characters have manifestations of their worst fears come to life. Either way, I don't think this is the last we see of Rollo this season, or perhaps next season. He knows how important Kattegat is as a trading hub, and I also think there's a great possibility that we see the important historical moment of Rollo sacrificing 100 slaves to Odin. Or perhaps when Ivar decides not to meet Rollo's demands, Rollo sacrifices 100 of Ivar's men. That would be intense. Speaking of revelations, we see that Lagertha is incredibly reluctant to leave her home and country, but knows there is no other option but to leave because Ivar wants to kill her. Is this Lagertha's lowest low point? She is currently homeless, she had to kill Astrid, who is pregnant, and now she is being hunted. Before the season, if you asked me if Lagertha would survive, I would have said there's a pretty solid chance I saw her making it into the final season, but it looks like she will be involved in another dangerous situation in England with King Alfred and the Christian Church who wants to kill him. I am extremely excited about this particular plotline because there's so many characters that have to figure out their future destination from this location, and England is going to be a great launching point for the final journeys of all of these characters. But both Bjorn and Lagertha have experience in political matters like the one King Alfred is about to experience, so she can make herself useful and perhaps buy her and Bjorn more time and an army to help them take back Kattegat. As I mentioned in my episode 12 promo trailer breakdown, which you can find in the link in the description in this video, we could see that Lagertha forms a bond with Alfred similarly to how Ragnar formed one with King Egbert. Alfred is empathetic and reasonable, unlike Ivar, so I could see them striking a deal to perhaps honor the original agreement that was made between King Egbert and Ragnar, where they get a piece of English land where they can farm and live. I think this is also a perfect opportunity for Ubbe and Alfred to connect, and since Ubbe is the one that's most likened to Ragnar and Alfred is a solid mix of King Egbert and Athelstan, they can create a genuine bond. However, we can't forget that the Danes are in a compromised position, and they will have to accept Alfred's offer to fight for him who is in a position of strength. But Alfred isn't stupid, so sweetening the agreement with lands and titles will help him out in the long run. It will be interesting to see the development and new sides to these characters as they will have to make sacrifices. Speaking of sacrifice, will Hagman have to sacrifice his position as bishop because of his relationship with Lagertha and the Danes? It's quite possible that this is the case, and Alfred very publicly disavows Bishop Hagman, but not for the reasons that we think, but because of the plans of the Christian Church to kill King Alfred, which Lagertha and Hagman will point out. This could get the Christian Church to be more aggressive with their plans to kill King Alfred, because he is seemingly more vulnerable to them as he will have to elect a new bishop. I think this would be a brilliant way to give a false signal that Alfred's position is weakening when it actually isn't. And also something that is quite interesting is the duality of each of these characters and how they will be evolving or devolving within the fallout of Ragnarok. We could possibly see a more cunning and devious Alfred in the second half of Season 5, which would strengthen the English plotline for Seasons 6A and B. There's going to be some serious Game of Thrones action going down in England, and I can't wait to see how this plot unfolds. Finally, we get Floki and the Iceland plotline, and I can't say I've enjoyed it very much so far, but I enjoy Floki, so hopefully there will be some sort of major payoff. I'm glad the decision was made to not sacrifice Floki, but the conflict seems forced between him and Eyvind. I don't think that they can realistically carry on the pace of this plotline for the rest of the season when they can be giving more important screen time to characters like Ubbe or Vitsark who still have room to evolve or devolve. Well, this episode is called Revelation, and we have been bombarded with symbolism of fire from Ivar, and the forces of ice and fire oppose each other in the Great War of Ragnarok. And in the sagas, it is said that Floki returned to Norway to tell the people that Iceland is a worthless land, and they should not travel there. But some of his crew, however, contradicted him and suggested that it does have promise. And since Floki will return to Norway, and if Ivar is still king, it is my belief that Floki will be an instrumental player in deciding how Ivar is defeated because of his descent into madness. I could also see Floki take up the role of seer in Season 6, but it does say he does return to Iceland in the saga, so maybe someone like Kettle Flatnose helps set things straight and they sail back to Iceland with a new group of settlers. Overall, I think the episode was solid. I'll give it a 7.5 axes out of 10, and I think it was a great starting point for the second half of Season 5. I definitely think that episode 12 will be more revealing as to where each of these characters will end up this season, but overall, I am super hyped for the rest of Season 5 as we descend into Ragnarok. I'll be doing another video focusing on the nightmare dream theory I spoke of earlier in this video, and I will be doing a podcast with King McKay on Monday or Tuesday to further discuss episode 11 on the Odin's Eye podcast. So make sure you go check out King McKay's episode 12 breakdown and review on his channel. I will put the link to his channel in the description of this video. Also, if you want to see more Vikings videos like this one, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get updated for my upcoming Vikings videos. And don't forget to leave a like and rate this episode out of 10 axes and comment about your overall thoughts of the episode in the comment section. Thanks for watching, everyone. Skull!